Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here with our first day of our webinar on paradigm shift in sustainability of the garment industry. As a representative of the National Institute of Fashion Technology, Delhi, and in the Fashion Technology Department, it is indeed a pleasure to have a panel which is composed of very senior people from the garment industry today. Just a brief introduction on what NIFT is doing towards the sustainability issue as far as our curriculum is concerned. So, what we have tried to do over the last few years when we are building our curriculum, or rather rebuilding it, was bring in this issue of sustainability in all the facets of education that we are offering here. So whether we are looking at the grassroots level of craft, whether we are looking at industrial design and design sustainability, whether we are looking at sustainability at the level of production systems, factories, um, creating systems which are sustainable, and creating systems in supply chain, in retail, telling the students how to develop those systems and how they can take those into the industry. Of course, we would be the first to say that these things that we bring into the classroom are with that symbiotic relationship that we have with the industry. So we are learning from the industry, telling our students, teaching our students, and then they take it back into the industry and hopefully grow larger, make things more sustainable, make systems more sustainable. And in today's time, given the situation that we are in, I think sustainability has a greater meaning than anything else if we are to survive, if the systems have to survive, if our industry has to survive here. So I'm going to hand over to Ms. Girija Jha, who is going to take you through the introduction of what we are doing here today. And I hope we have a good session today. Thank you for joining us.
Very good afternoon, esteemed panelists on the webinar today. Thank you, Professor Bhavna, for such a wonderful beginning of the session. And also, thank you, Professor Bhavna, for giving such a beautiful insight into how academics at NIFT Delhi Center is creating future-ready professionals who are equipped with a 360-degree understanding of sustainability aspects in the domain of design, management, and technology. Business of fashion states that sustainability shall be a key driver of the industry in the future. No wonder we at NIFT have the commitment to create future-ready professionals. Today, the panel discussion will be on a very important agenda, which is how industry plays a pivotal role in integrating sustainability in the systems and processes of apparel industry, especially with context to the current situation of COVID lockdown. Sustainability and SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, shall be our prima focus. We shall get to understand the pulse of the consumers and their changed preferences during COVID-19 and how it acts as a trigger to actuate the chain reaction across the supply chain of the apparel industry. We shall also get to know the retail side of the story to understand how sustainability gets trickled down to the complete supply chain. We also shall discuss sustainability in fabric manufacturing and know what are the new dimensions of sustainability after COVID-19. Coherence between sustainability and apparel manufacturing shall be on our agenda too. We shall also elaborate the strategies formulated by the stakeholders in the industry towards rebuilding a more sustainable future post-COVID. A warm welcome to all the speakers on panel. I will just very briefly introduce you the esteemed panelists here. Mr. Karun Tyagi, who is the Vice President of Environmental, Sustainability and Business Development at ProClean Technologies Private Limited. Welcome, sir. Mr. Abhishek Ganguly, who is the General Manager of India and Southeast Asia Puma, a very warm welcome. Mr. Subrat Ghosh, who is the Vice President of Nandan Denims, thank you, sir, for joining us. Mr. Kaushalendra Narayan, who is the Director Operations of Silver Spark Apparel Limited, Raymond, a very warm welcome. Mr. Laikur Rahman, the founder and director of Elito Solutions and Services India Private Limited. And last but not the least, Mr. Manish Sinha, who is the head of operations at Laguna. Welcome to all of you. Before I start with the session, I would very quickly introduce the moderator for today's panel, Mr. Laikur Rahman, who is a NIFT alumni and has worked with Levi Strauss India and has been very instrumental in the sustainability projects of denim of Levi's then. With rich experience in buying and sourcing in companies like Lifestyle International and Reliance Trends, he has a deep understanding of various facets of sustainability. Currently, the founder and director of Elito Solutions and Services India Private Limited, which is an organization dealing with the buying, sourcing, and consultancy in the apparel sector. I hand over the panel to and the session to Mr. Rahman to initiate the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Girja. Thank you for such a nice introduction for all of us. As Bhavna Madam has already told and Girja also told, the subject why we are all here, sustainability will be the way of living and going forward. The STEAM panel today which we have is going to discuss about industry proactiveness and role in making garment industry more sustainable. We have a very balanced panel, someone representing Mr. Abhishek representing the retail front and the brand, Mr. Subrata Ghosh from textile background, and he's been into denim business. He's also known as Denim Man, as he fondly known as. Then we have Mr. Karun Tyagi, chemical textile engineer and having a rich experience in sustainability projects across various subjects. We have Mr. Kaushalendra Narayan, who is head of operation Raymond's India, has been part of many sustainable process within Raymond's and outside, whether it is a process sustainability, people sustainability, or the product sustainability. Last but not the least, we have Manish Sinha, who is head of operation for Laguna Clothing. We'll have an introduction later again, but we'll start with Mr. Karun Tyagi, who is a chemical engineer, textile. He has done his engineering in textile chemistry, a senior professional in textile industry with managed textile dyes and chemical industry with 20 plus years of experience. He's been part of many initiatives in this field, in the sustainability field, presently working as business development and environmental sustainability with Procline Technologies Private Limited. So over to you, Mr. Karun Tyagi. We should start with this session now.
Okay, so let me share the screen first, the presentation part of it. I think host needs to enable the sharing screen. I'm unable to share the screen.
You want Mr. Ghosh to do that?
No. But yeah, NIFT, the host needs to enable this the thing for me.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's they enable it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's visible for everybody now?
Yes.
Okay, so as I said, the topic for today's webinar is fashion and the sustainable development goals. And to understand the SDGs, it is very important to understand the sustainability. This is a kind of a short webinar where I'm going to speak just for 7 to 8 minutes, and the topic is very, very vast. So if anybody wants to get into detail about this topic, they can always go to the podcast link, which I mentioned on my slide. And there you can get all the details about SDGs and sustainability and all. Because in 7 to 8 minutes, it's very difficult to cover the entire topic. So going to the first slide, as I said, we need to define sustainability before going to the SDGs. And sustainability means the ability to maintain at a certain level. And it is very well defined by a quote from late Mahatma Gandhi, which says, Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. That means satisfying the needs is sustainability. So there are four pillars or four P's of sustainability, which I mentioned here. That is planet, profit, people, and partnership. So what are the SDGs? SDGs are the blueprint to achieve sustainable future. And there are 17 SDGs and all are interconnected. These are the set of goals set by United Nations General Assembly in 2015 and to achieve this goal by year 2030. So from the next slide, we are going to see how the fashion, SDGs, and the impact on the fashion on these SDGs. So we'll start with the first SDG, which says no poverty. As we all know that the low pays are very persistent in the fashion supply chain. The wages are much below the living wages. As per Deloitte study, only 4% of the price of clothing is estimated back to the workers, which is very low. Also, study conducted by Walk Free Foundation revealed that the fashion supply chain is the second highest at the risk of modern slavery. The next SDG is SDG 5, which says gender equality. Around 60 to 75 million people work directly in the fashion industry, and out of which 70 to 80% are women. And many of them are subjected to exploitation, verbal and physical abuse. Also, women are estimated to earn 75% of what men make. And nearly 1 in 3 female workers experience a sexual harassment in their workplace. The next SDG is SDG 8, which says decent work and economic growth, and is armed to promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment, and decent work for all the people. To pay the living wages in the apparel industry, the supply chain would result into a small price increase, which is just 2 to 5%. A consumer need to pay just 2 to 5% to give a living wages to the workers. The subset of SDG 8 is 8.7, which talks about child labor, and which is a significant concern in the fashion industry. The next one is SDG 13, which points out to the climate action. As we all know, fashion industry is responsible for 2 to 3% of global GHG emissions, which can go up to 60% higher by 2030 if goes at the same pace. PET and other synthetic fibers, which are 60 to 65% of apparel supply chain, made up of fossil fuels, and they use 350 million barrels of oils every year. Production of textile uses 93 billion cubic meter of water, which is 4% of fresh water usage globally. Growing cotton requires a lot of water, and it's required a lot of pesticide and insecticides. So going to the next SDG, which is SDG 6, which is clean water and sanitation, and SDG 14, which is life below water. It's around to say that 10,000 of liters of water is required to produce 1 kg of cotton, which is typically 5 to 6 t-shirts. The textile wet processing industry pollutes 70% of Asia rivers and lakes. 35% of microplastic pollution is the oceans come from the clothing industry. The next SDG is SDG 15, which aims to conserve and restore the ecosystem, such as forests, wetlands, drylands, and mountains. The last SDG is SDG 17, which talks about partnership between the stakeholders in supply chain for the sustainable living. To achieve the science-based targets that defined as per the SDGs. So once a company decides on SDGs, they need to define the science-based target. And to achieve this science-based target that defines as per the SDGs number, the supply chain should address the traceability, material impact, reducing the impacts at each stage, social impact across the supply chain, and transparency, monitoring, reporting for the entire system. So let's address the different aspect of the supply chain. So the first aspect is the design, as it impacts the inside supply chain, the product life cycle, consumer, and end of the life stage. The crucial point that needs to be considered while we are considering the design is the longevity, minimal waste, less care, and closed loop recycling. The next aspect is raw material. And the things that needs to be considered here are the GHG emissions, water consumption, cost, renewable carbon materials like biomaterials, availability of those materials, and other factors which alter the biodiversity. The next one is yarn and fabric production. And the points that needs to be considered here are the use of renewable energy, proper maintenance of machineries, less water, and less emissions. The next, which is a very important aspect of the supply chain, is textile wet processing, and is crucial because it is water intensive, water polluting, and energy intensive process. And the point needs to be considered here are the low impact dyes and chemicals, biomaterials, low liquor machines, zero liquid discharge, waterless dyeing, right first time, compliance with the brands RSL and MRSL list, heat recovery system, and low impact processing, which means to make a light shades and off-white garments. The next aspect is garmenting. And the points needs to be considered here are the minimal waste, reuse of scrap materials, fewer and the smarter blends to make it recyclable, and partnership with the recycling facilities. After garmenting comes the transportations, where we need to consider the use of ships and trains instead of aeroplanes, integrated facilities, and proximity to the warehouses. As it is mentioned, the flying the products add 5 kg of CO2 emissions, CO2e, for 1 kg of clothing. So that needs to be considered. Once garment reach to the hand of the customer, the next aspect is care, repair, rewear, recycle. That comes into the picture. And the last aspect of the SDGs is social aspect, which relevant across the supply chain is the social sustainability, which include living wages, providing a decent life, gender equality, and safety for workers and the consumers. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a very valuable insight. What we can summarize from your thoroughness, sustainability is an approach that considers the interconnected ecological, social, and economic dimensions of the systems and the process towards a more harmonious and a peaceful future. Whether in terms of saving our environment, considering our workers, it's no more a word, but a practice to be cultivated.
Right.
And how does one use these natural resources without impacting ecological, economic, and social balance? A very valuable insight that you have given to us, and everyone has to think about it, going forward, going particularly post-COVID era, how we can work on it closely. Because many organizations have been trying in various ways to maintain this equilibrium by minimizing exploitation of natural resources, labors, reducing impact on the environment, and all this while maintaining the social economic sanctity. But going forward, yes, it has to be more impactful and more brought into practice. Thank you so much for your insight. Now we have our next panelist, Mr. Abhishek Ganguly. He's the General Manager, Puma, India and Southeast Asia, and one of the founding member of Puma. He's also a key member of global leadership team within Puma and responsible for over 15 key growth markets like India, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Singapore. He will give us more insight from the brand perspective, how we are going to make it more sustainable. Over to you, Mr. Abhishek. You're not audible.
All right, sorry, I put myself on mute. It happens all the time. Well, Mr. Rahman, thank you, and thanks to the other panelists. It's a pleasure joining you guys for this discussion, which is something very close to my heart, as well as to my company's heart. When I was thinking about the topic, and I thought that I should probably give a consumer and a brand perspective in this entire conversation on why sustainability is so critical. And I was also thinking that because the topic was related to the COVID-19 and lockdown, is there any way why is it related? Because sustainability for the planet in our industry was always a very, very important topic. Given what Karun said, that it's one of the most polluting sectors by all means. So I think the reason I think that COVID is important that way is because I was going through this report which said that consumers now in the world post the entire pandemic will endorse brands which have a purpose, which has a purpose beyond profit. And I think that is very relevant because after all this that has happened, and we have all got a bit of time to stay indoors and think and also see what's happening across the world, which has taken us by surprise. I think we've all become, including our consumers, have become very, very sensitive, and they would like to back brands which have a purpose. I have always dabbled with this. Puma is India's, in our country, the largest sportswear and lifestyle brand in fashion. And we've always dabbled with this commercial objective that we have in a business around sales and profitability, and then to have the purpose, which is much larger for social and environmental reasons. I have also seen that over the last 5-6 years, consumers like never before are interested in sustainability. There was a time when I was in the industry, when people would talk about, why increase cost of product for sustainable reasons, because consumers don't value that. And there was this low sense of sensitivity. However, with every interaction and with various data that I have, 75% of the consumers today are bothered about sustainability and measures around sustainability. This is primarily millennials. And also, if you look at social media, the kind of searches people do, kind of, reports that they read, the kind of initiatives that they go through, search around sustainability has increased by far in the last 5 years, which is a very, very healthy sign because all of us are getting concerned about, sustainable ways to live in this planet, on this planet. Garments is one of the most challenging parts because durability of garment is something which has gone down. Number of people in the last 1 decade, the usage of garment has gone down by almost 40%, which means the number of times people use the same garment before discarding it, with the advent of fast fashion, has really, really increased. The number of garments sold in this last decade has almost doubled, from 50 billion units to almost 100 billion units, which is scary, given that if we don't take care of the resources which gets in, the resources that get into, or the process that get into manufacturing the garment, it can be a big, big pain for the entire planet. Talking about our organization, sustainability is something very fundamental to us. Every factory that we make our products in have to go through a very strong social and environmental audit where we have benchmarks, global benchmarks, and extremely critical, both on the social side, with, whether it is child labor protection to, minimum wages, to on the environmental side, the kind of, adhesives used, kind of fabrics used. We have very, very strong standards, and we do audits with all our factories. That has been on for a long time. But what has happened is by 2015, we took this initiative saying that, in 5 years' time, we need to reach 90% of our products to come from sustainable materials. That was a challenging target because at that point of time, by 2016, we were only at 17%. with a lot of initiatives taken on this measure, by 2018, we reached about 50% of our cotton garments coming from sustainable sources, about 66% of our polyester coming from sustainable sources. So there were a lot of efforts that has happened, and we are on our way to achieve 90% target that a challenging target that we set for ourselves. In this effort, we have worked with Better Cotton Initiative on the cotton side, with Blue Sign certified products on the polyester side, and have done a lot on this matter. Just to give you an example, just by by endorsing Better Cotton Initiative, we have saved almost 3 million cubes of water consumed in making our product. And then you start realizing as an organization that how much of a difference that you can make by just being more conscious and more aware. Also, our industry uses a lot of leather, a lot of paper, cardboard. We've ensured that almost 95% of them by about last year was already sustainable. And there is a constant effort to keep on increasing this benchmark. Closer home, we tied up last year with Gunj, which some of you might have already known, onto how to create a circular economy around fashion. And we donated a lot of made our consumers actually pull together and donate a lot of the products and share it with the community last year. And that's an initiative which has been extremely successful, and also has given us a lot of motivation to do such initiatives where the people who are not very fortunate, they get to share, they get the clothes that are shared from people who are buying new clothing or footwear. One of the most interesting things that we have done and very relevant, and I would like to share a bit about you, is our initiative, a collaboration that we did with First Mile. With First Mile, what we did was we made actually footwear, apparel, accessories from plastic bottles. Now, in the process, in this collaboration with the products that we made in 2020, we actually used up 40 million tons, which is almost 20 lakh bottles. 2 million plastic bottles were used to make our products this year itself. And that's an ongoing initiative. I'll show you when I end the chat from my side. I'll share with you a video on this, which is very encouraging. The way it happened was that we made First Mile through the First Mile network. Plastics were collected, converted into yarns, which were converted into finished products, footwear, apparel, and accessories, like I said. So at the end, I would like to say that, there is no choice but to be sustainable, because our consumers, I mean, even if we are business centric and we forget about the planet, which of course we shouldn't, but even our consumers are today getting extremely aware about sustainability. So it is very, very important. And that's for a brand, for a global brand like us, for a leading brand like us, it's super critical. I would end my chat by trying to share a video on our collaboration with First Mile, so that you understand that how deep can one think and convert that into commerciality. I hope I can share my... I hope you guys can see this. Can you?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. I just play it then.
When we first started our mission,
and I will keep it moving so that I don't use up 3 minutes of the webinar on this. So I'll be quick, but for you to get a context.
Statement was that we wanted to take waste and turn it into jobs and useful stuff that people loved. Partnerships like the one that we have with Puma get to tell the story of the people that are really on the front line of fighting plastic pollution.
Here in Hualien, we've met individual collectors. What they do is that they pick up bottles in their day in and day out lives.
Sales.
很快，很多那个回收就，
我都运动和老人家 比较好。Those materials then get sent to a collection center that aggregates all of these different materials.
这就是餐盒，这就是宝特。我叫邱道顺，我是金山回收厂的负责人。这个是一家，一户。
They come down this chute here, where it's then run into the actual baler, so they get compressed and then wrapped around in wire into this giant, super heavy brick that can then be put onto a shipping container and easily transported. Those bales go into a shipping container and are taken to the recycling facility. At the recycling facility, the material goes through what's called a wash and grind line. At the end, you get recycled flake. That flake gets melted down into pellets. That pellet gets melted down and extruded into fiber or yarn. And then that yarn gets knit or woven into fabric.
What we want to do is bring an awareness and a knowledge, and not just that, but also a celebration that these people aren't trash collectors. They're really unsung heroes.
我能讲的说，很多人都认为回收是一个肮脏、很脏的一个很下贱的一个行业。
所有的保特瓶做出来，所以你每一个回收的保特瓶，我们把它就是分类再去做回收。你看它可以做出一个
很漂亮，然后
漂亮的衣服嘞，
好嘞，还要戴帽子，那个帽子，哇，很漂亮呢。
I hope this gives you an idea. I would stop sharing on this. I think that's it from my side. Thank you. I'll stay put on with this.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. Thank you for sharing the nice video, which covers whatever you have spoken about with the first mile initiative. You know, that shows the complete process of how the bottles are collected, converted, and then to make the end product, shoes and all. As you have very correctly said.
Can the host take my sharing off, please?
Yeah.
I'm new to the Zoom platform, so I think I figured it out. Just hold on. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So as you rightly said, Abhishek, fashion can be very glamorous, you know, stylish and iconic, but it is also very wasteful, damaging, and exploitative to the environment, which you have very rightly put in context. You know, the fashion business model thrives on retailer producing the low-cost garment or good quality garment, but at the same time, it creates havoc on the environment. You know, adding tons of wastage and everything in the environment and damaging. So we have to be more careful going forward, post-COVID era. Thank you so much for your sharing the details. We now move to Mr. Subrata Ghosh. He is Vice President of Nandan Denims, and he's in this indigo world for more than 28 years, worked in production departments and product developments, a hardcore denim guy, and been involved in various sustainability projects within Nandan Denims, and always been part of new initiative that is being taken by Nandan Denims in manufacturing denims with the minimum usage of water and damage on the environment. Over to you, Mr. Subrata Ghosh.
Thank you, Mr. Raman, and good evening to all other panelists. Thank you for giving opportunity. Let me first try to share my screen, which I have prepared. I don't know advance. I don't know why I cannot see my screen.
You need to share your screen.
Yeah. No, I have already clicked in the share, but I cannot see my screen. Oh, this is very bad. I was not expecting this.
Virendraji, can you look into it?
I can open from here.
उनका शेयर आप नहीं कर पाएंगे ना वीरेंद्र जी?
नहीं, वो शेयर स्क्रीन ऑप्शन कंट्रोल सर Please go to share screen green button.
I've gone to that button.
Choose your screen. A small pop-up window coming after. Hello. Yes, coming. Yes. Put on presentation mode.
Your screen is sharing. I don't know why it is so slow. Can you see it now? It is already in share mode.
But put on slide slow. ऊपर top में है slide slow.
That is there. I can do that.
We can see the screen, sir.
Yeah,
I can see.
Yeah. Network.
Yeah, so good. So second, I'll talk about sustainability in the textile manufacturing angle. What is the different aspects of sustainability in fabric manufacturing? So as we have said, there are three different stages of sustainability. Sustainability means, as we have initially discussed, where we are as right now, and then what was discussed about the sustainability is the sustainability toward environment. But what I can see post-COVID era is a more conscious on sustainability towards health and hygiene. It was not so important parameter. Everybody looking out of saving water, saving environment. So that was environmental sustainability. Now, during manufacturing of a textile material, what are the different stages where sustainability can be worked? Is alternate raw material, modified process parameters, self-compliance, and changing consumer practice. So what are the alternate raw material? We have already discussed 1,800 gallon of water is required just for one pair of jeans. This is one aspect of the cotton. The other is during huge consumption of the cotton, actual growth of the cotton in the field is not at the same space what is the market required. So that is, so people are now looking for the alternate raw material. Polyester cannot be considered as an alternate raw material because it's harmful. But so what are the other natural raw material we have already known? Tencel, rayon, hemp, viscose, bamboos. These are basically practically used alternate fiber in place of cotton, which is called sustainable fibers. There is a reason behind that. They takes less space, they take less water during their consumption per kilo of that particular material. And sustainable manufacturing. What are they again? During the process of a fabric formation, we have manufacturing excellence. So we have to consider how we can reduce our waste generation. Environmental responsibility. So manufacturing while not disturbing the ecology. So like wastage, leakage, that is common practice in textile manufacturing. So our practice should be sustainable. Ethical conduct, employees health and safety. Responsible sourcing. So we intentionally source the raw material like BCI cotton, so many other raw material which is not harmful, like RSL, restricted substance list should be in our table before we source any chemical. Whether it is brand demand or not, we should source all GOTS approved chemical, or you can say all approved chemical. Energy saving. This is an ongoing process. Every time, every year, the technology is coming with the new modified processes, modified machineries to save the energy, whether it is power. Now, many companies have started using solar panel in their rooftop as an alternate source of energy. Now, many we can see during machine purchase, if we make our machine a tailor-made machine, I can give example. Now we do very soft fill denim. So what are the generally process route? You do for first desizing, then flat finish, then weight process. So three different processes. But if we make a machine which all three processes combined. So we can save a lot of power from that, lot of water. There are a lot of other technologies coming to save power, like lots of power is required in our exhaust system in spinning. So that fans is a huge power consuming fans. If we connect them with our inverter, they save a lot of power, because in the night we don't need that kind of high speed of fan or our exhaust. So these are exhaust means suction in the spinning area or in weaving area. Water saving. Water saving is a new innovation going on in every angle. We have developed waterless dyed fabric. So complete fabric while processing, from spinning to finishing, no single drop of water was used. The chemical with zero waste wash water. During indigo dyeing, the 4-5 wash boxes are needed to continuously clean the water, clean the yarn. So now chemicals are available. If we put that chemical, we don't need to drain a single liter of water continuously hours after water. So it is reducing the load on effluent. It is saving water, and not only it is also giving the better fastness. There is now zero discharge ETP, effluent treatment plant, because everything is reused. We can convert them to usable water. So these are more details there inside in every process. Then self-compliance. All brands ask for different certification, GOTA, GRS. But we think, if we think about our self-compliance, whether brand asks or not, our self-compliance is a practice, which is our sustainable focus of the company. And it's not a just to a tag that with this company is doing this certification or giving this transaction certificate for this brand, but it should be our practice. Self-compliance should be our practice, and it should be in our DNA of all employees. So no need for certification. Yes, whenever there is certification, there are all other this certification is there. Now, modified consumption pattern: recycle, reuse, rental, and resell. What is that? This is basically post-fabric formation. Means we can use PET bottle. It is a very huge consumption now going on, and we are making recycled polyester from PET bottle and the denim fabric. So it is sustainable denim. So we are saving a lot of load from the earth by using this recycled PET bottle. Then reuse. All the in-process and finished product can be converted to fiber first, and then again from fiber to denim. 360-degree consumption. So that is a word called pre and post-consumer waste. This is a word for using for last so many years in the industry. Post-consumer waste coming from the jeans, which is already used by some consumer. We have to take it and make it converted to fiber, then fiber to fabric again. Pre-consumer waste is basically our in-process waste as well as factory waste before it goes to the consumer. So this is another way of doing that. Resell. I was just going through an article. Post-COVID, this business is coming down. There's a huge business from the all UK brand. They sell the unused garment, or they collect from the end consumer. They throw away very used garment which is not on, but again is going to the African countries, which is very poor countries. So they call it resell. But after the COVID, the people are scared of using that second-hand garments. So that business is impacting, but it is a process of actually usage of the old garment. Then called rental. It is a surprising thing. It's not focused in our country, but is maybe in the future. People rent jeans. You consume, you use it for so many period, give the rent and take it back. And the margins of Netherlands, they use this practice. They rent that, like we rent scooter, we rent a motorcycle, we rent bicycle, they rent the garments. So this is a way of, again, sustainability. This interesting thing. Then this is a new thing I can see from today onward, you can see we are doing webinar. What is that actually? This basically not a physical meeting. We are not going to any particular place, convention center, all sitting together having this presentation. We are doing from home, the virtual meeting. But I will give you more strength on the first 2 points: digital marketing and digital sampling. You know, in our denim line, every day or in the month, we send free of sample hundreds of meter. It goes to 1,000 to 2,000 meter of sample per month to all the brands. And they, along with that, we have to send the hangers also, garments also. And then again, the courier charge. What is doing it? I can see, if I travel, I can see lots of piled up, unopened, this packet of samples lying in the brand's office. Wastage of money, wastage of resource, wastage of natural resources. So if we go in the practice of digital marketing and digital sampling, this will be huge load reduction in the coming days. When we are not familiar with e-commerce, we are going for the mall or store, have a practice of changing trial room and lot of other trial, then we purchase one. Now we purchase from directly website. We don't see how it feels. We don't see how it looks like. We trust what they send. There's a payback return option available, but still we trust that whatever we can see in the website on the e-commerce site, it will be like that only. So why not the brand think of using the digital platform instead of asking for hundreds of meters of sample every time? So this new thing I'm giving option, virtual fair. I think this is a recent kingpin in denim is done virtually. Everybody is done from their offices. And already people are starting doing virtual meal week. There is a lot of waste of time and energy people are collecting in a place not possible to do in near future. So people are looking for virtual meal week. Then this is another very pain area of the industry. If you collect the data of the unused garment, unused fabric in the fabric manufacturing unit, in the wholesalers unit, garment manufacturing unit, and everywhere, these are all huge stock without any use. And not only this is stock, this is a waste of money. We are sitting with the waste money. So why not we think dramatically how we can use this stock? So I have given a suggestion. It is easily that fabric can be converted a garment and we can sell it like a sustainable garment out of this available stock. I think if all the denim mills stop making production in a whole year, in a whole complete financial year, there will be no shortage of fabric. That kind of fabric is available in the whole world in stock. People has to think in that direction. Then sustainability towards health and hygiene. Now, I know so lockdown has opened. Bangalore is the first city to open. People are all back to the office, and somebody's now started. But I am in Ahmedabad. Yes, it is open, but we'll be still scared. A lot of cases are there. Delhi is not open. Bombay is not open. But whenever they'll be open, people will be scared to use same clothing, travel to that heavy traffic with train and metro. What is the solution? Solution is all the designers, if they come out of some fancy protective garment made from the denim or any other textiles which covers the whole body, it's like apron, fancy apron, you can wear during your office, home to office to home, or even evening wear. You keep it in your chair, do the office duty. When again come back, you can use this. We can see the mask, innovation of face mask. Face mask was not popular in India, even when there is a compulsorily need to use, like on a loom said, and fabric manufacturing, people must wear mask. Still they were not using because it is not comfortable. Now, lots of innovation is coming in the face mask. This is the post-COVID innovations. And every fabric is a little request to all the brands who are consumer. If you use antiviral fabric, you take from any company, no matter, but use that antiviral technology, it will prevent you from the contamination of all kinds of virus, old influenza virus, SARS virus, even now coronavirus. We can, I can give example. In the past, when you used to use socks, Puma, okay, there's a top end brand, but if you other small socks manufacturer, they used to give a regular socks a very cheaper rate. And whenever in the office somebody take out a leg from the shoe, what it was basically bacteria forming due to the moisture. But after that, people started using antibacterial finish. So that things are not there. So similarly, from antibacterial to antiviral is the need of the hour.
Correct. Agree to that.
So this is the initiative we have done in our company. So as a sustainable matter, liquid indigo 100% we are using. So recycle, we use our caustic 100% recycle. We recycle of 25% of processed water, condensate water 45%. We have all kind of certification. We have GRS certificate. We use post-consumer as well as pre-consumer waste. Whatever extent we can use, it's very difficult to handle, but we will try to use that. We will increase that consumption of post-consumer waste in coming days also. So, and many other energy saving procedures also there, which data I have not given, but it is a continuous process of alternate source of power, alternate machinery, technology upgradation. This is a part of energy saving. So these are the few things I have covered in a small time. Hope so you like that. Coming time. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Subrata Ghosh, for a very interesting insight. Besides what you are using in for the sustainability thing, like you have covered many topics like reuse of denim, reuse of fibers, PET bottles. Everything is being done now to make it more sustainable era. Very interesting thing that you have told, or if you have shared today, is rental of denims. It is very interesting. I was not actually aware of it. That somewhere someone is renting out denim, and people are actually using it. I have heard about a company in UK. They are using some repair method of denims that you can take your old basic core denims and get this dry finishes done, some more scratching and some grinding and all that stuff, and take it back, and use as a fashion denim. But you have shared some more interesting insight given to this. And before we go to our next panelist, Kaushal Narayan, we have one or two questions that we can take from the participant. Is that okay, Girja? Can I take one or two questions? Yeah, so one question is from Avinash Kumar, who is the product head of Reliance Trends for women's wear, and also an alumni of NIFT Chennai. His question is, how will we sustain if buyer want to reduce the price of garment? Because sustainability comes with a cost. And how the costing will be done in the new scenario? I think this question will go to Subrata Ghosh.
Yeah, I'd like to answer. I have given one option that used fabric, available fabric. If we make a garment from that, and this is a sustainable approach, and all the companies and all the processes, we can save money. They're all giving discount on that. So it will be a throwaway price, a huge benefit to the end consumer. And I think post-COVID, when people are having less money, less salary, even somebody has not got salary, this is the time we should support industry. This is the benefit of all. We as a manufacturer, a producer and end consumer. And other than that, people are looking for the directly cost reduction. Yeah, a lot of suggestions are coming, a lot of pressure we are also getting for last 10-15 days. But there is no reason of reducing price of our fabric or a garment. How can you reduce? Now, on the contrary, all the factories are running 25% capacity. So in the 25% capacity, you cannot have a 25% manpower. Manpower is nearly 40 to 50%, but production is 25%. So we cannot give direct discount. We have to go the other way. What is the other way? This is the used fabric. I don't think any other options are available to give any how to make cheaper sustainable fabric or sustainable garments.
It's more into building of your total overall cost of the garment.
I'd like to add something.
Yeah, please.
Well, the question is on cost. It's a separate topic altogether about reducing cost and the expectation of the buyer or the customer. But it is about whether using sustainable measures will increase the price, because if it does not increase the price, then the question of does not arise. So in my opinion, I think it's a wrong mindset to think that sustainability always increases price. Sustainability is actually a mindset. It's a way of doing business, not necessarily at the cost of increasing the price. And you know, like some of the panelists spoke and Mr. Subrata also spoke, you know, how can we eliminate waste, you know, whether it is about digital ways to access your customer or using, you know, energy, which is far more sustainable. When we moved from 17% sustainable material to today, almost 90% of our products have sustainability in our products. You know, we did not do this at the cost of increasing price. So I don't think sustainability is the barrier in today's world. Of course, there is a challenge of you know, demand, which is based on lower price expectation, but that's a separate topic in my opinion.
Correct.
I agree, Rahman. I agree here. Okay, it's all about mindset. Okay, and you know, saying that, you know, the sustainability initiative will raise the cost. Okay, I think it is wrong. Okay, because ultimately we are reducing the waste. You know, a lot of unwanted things we are reducing. Okay, we are recycling the fabric. So at the end, you know, that it will be cost effective. Okay.
And as rightly said by Abhishek, it doesn't mean that you are making a sustainable garment, you need to increase the cost, because if you see all aspect of garment making, so if the designers do designing based on sustainable fabrics or multi-purpose use of fabric or recyclability of fabric, so the true cost of the garment is always lesser than the actual cost. So we need to see the all aspect of garment while reducing the cost of article. So that is very important, because the perception is always there in customer or brands or even manufacturer minds. When they offer something on sustainability to brand or to the customer, there is always a price escalation. So that needs to be taken care while with all aspects of textile supply chain.
Correct. Very true. So I'll now move to Mr. Kaushal, our next panelist. He's the Director of Operations for Silver Spark Apparel, part of Raymond's Group. And he's been instrumental in many initiatives that Raymond's take, you know, and Silver Spark take from the production perspective. You know, sustainability in terms of product, sustainability in terms of process, and people, which is more important post-COVID era. So over to you, Mr. Kaushal.
Thanks, Raman, for your kind word. And thanks, Girja and Bhavna ma'am, for having me here. Okay. Before I proceed, I will share the screen first. So as earlier mentioned, that Mahatma Gandhi has told that nature can fulfill your need, but cannot fulfill your greed, and then it forces you for course correction. And let me say that in this scenario, sustainability is more relevant than ever. When your country, when your society is just struggling, you cannot imagine that your enterprise will not struggle. Enterprise is bound to struggle when your country and society is struggling. And if you will see, earlier people used to say it is before Christ and after Christ. Today it is before COVID and after COVID. I somewhere read that becoming is better than being, and we are in the journey of becoming in terms of sustainability. So let me say that when government allow us under Essential Act to open the plant with 33% of manpower, the first thing which came in our mind that what we are feeling, our people must be feeling same. And the first thing was safety. And we made the SOP and we ensure that before we are opening the plant, our each and every safety concern is implemented. You take it is a very common SOP as on today, any organization is following, but we are ensuring the way we feel scared about this corona, we ensure that our each and every person who is coming inside our organization is following the safety norms. The second thing which came in our team mind, that somewhere psychological fear is there in the mind of people that ki meri naukri hai ya nahi. Okay, when government has says that ki 33% manpower ke sath aap kaam karo, aapke paas 2000 log kaam kar rahe hain, it means you are going to use only near about 670 people. What about balance 1400 people lying with us? And when we started approaching our operators, they started asking this question. And our team has worked out, even though garmenting required very even skill, our team has worked out that every people out of 25 days, 8 days, rotational working will be there. And we ensure that every person is getting equal amount of money. It should be, see, bottom strata of the people is very, very important, and they are our lifeline. We are working due to them, we exist due to them, apart from our customer. Now, what change we saw once we started our plant? The lockdown has started on 24th, and we on 23rd was our last working days. And we were about to have our year-end inventory audit. And we open our plant. The first guideline which we got from our corporate before starting the plant, you need to have your inventory audit. Now you see the people, the guys who are going to have audit, they are sitting far away. Earlier, everything was face to face. Today, what we are seeing the change during this post-COVID or running COVID, everything is virtual. Either it's inventory audit or sample approval or shipment audit, either day-to-day based meeting or social compliance audit. During these 1 month plus days, all these activities has happened, and this has given us opportunity. It will help us to reduce our lead time if we follow this in future. Let me take you guys to sustainability journey of Silver Spark. It is based on 3 pillars. Someone is saying people, planet, and profit. We says environmental, social sustainability, and economical activity and sustainability. As well as we, as Vandana Madam has told, we feel that people, process, product sustainability are part of sustainability. Unless otherwise your people are not sustainable, product is not sustainable, process is not sustainable. I got opportunity to visit one of the pharma industry, And there what we have seen that every department outside, they are having list of SOP, and anybody can go and do the audit. And from pharma industry, we adopted this. So let me take you the journey of environmental. I will, since this time, your time Girja ne 7 minutes ka diya hai, it is not enough. But thanks, I will try to cover whatever the key things we are doing during these minutes. So let us start with environmental sustainability. Let me say key points of the environmental sustainability. As on today, 85% of our power consumption is based on solar energy, and we are having target to go for 100% on renewable energy by end of this year. The second thing is water. Now we are having all our facilities are on ZLD, zero liquid discharge. Now whatever the water we discharge, it goes through STP. After STP, it goes through the RO plant, and after RO plant, we use it for multiple purpose. It may be like for gardening, it may be for boiler, it may be for flush using toilet. Different purpose we are using the water. Also, we are also using this as a natural light. See, nature has given everything abundance, free of cost. Either it is water, either it is light, either it is air. And we human are polluting this. So what we have started using, we have started across all 4 facilities daylight harvesting. And that has given huge amount of power savings to us. Next to this, I will talk about that we also work on, Raymond is known for, our Silver Spark is known for making world-class suit. But the part of social sustainability, we also manufacture sanitary napkin, and it is not for outside the world. This sanitary napkin we distribute to about our 7,000 workforce, to their family and to their near and dear. We manufacture the sanitary napkin. We are having different kind of medical checkup every 3 months. We are having process that each and every person will go through the medical checkup. The whole philosophy of Silver Spark or Raymond is people first. Since if your people is there, you can do wonders. Annual eye camp, blood donation camp, blah, blah, blah. In sense, we talk about. As well as being an enterprise, we are having responsibility towards our society as well. When your society is not well, you can't be. At this point of time, we are distributing masks, we are distributing PPs, cover all sorts, what we are manufacturing for government of India as well. Also, we are having practice of 5S at school, at our premises, and we have extended it to society as well. Now, third is economical sustainability. Now, when we talk about economical sustainability, Silver Spark has moving towards made to measure. At one point of time, our all 4 plants used to make bulk order. Today, we are having capacity of 1,400 suits per day made to measure export capacity, which we are supplying to US market, Japan, European Union. See, when we see the bulk running the plant, most of the time we find that things are overlapping. So we brought the concept of plant in plant through the value stream mapping. At one point of time, we used to have 10 days inventory. Today, we are having 6 days inventory, and our throughput time is 4 hours. We can close our shipment. We can move the shipment within half an hour, 1.5 hour of our production. Okay. We are also in the journey of Industry 4.0. Our whole MTM, from order receiving to dispatch, on platform of Industry 4.0. Silver Spark is first in the world who has implemented S/4HANA fashion. We are having planning software, Fast React, which we operate across all globe facility on Fast React planning. Also, we work with digital Kanban, digital production tracking, automatic fabric inspection. The projects which are in pipeline right now, as I mentioned, We are having 15% capacity balance for renewable energy, which we will complete coming 1 year. Also, we are working on express line. Then we are also working particularly for warehouse sun pipe introduction. And what we observed in hospital that they are having pneumatic tubing system. There you put medicine or blood sample at one platform and it will go to particularly another platform. Here we are in garment industry, we are having a system of feeding helper. We are eliminating this feeding helper traditional system through pneumatic tubing system. As on today, almost we have saved about 5,000 carbon footprint, is 5,000 per ton per annum, and we are having target for next 1 year additional 5,000 ton per annum. So thank you very much. Hope I able to do justice with given time. Thank you.
Yes, Kaushal, that was a very informative thing, very informative thing that you have shared with us, and I believe there are a lot of great initiative that you guys are doing as a company in Silver Spark. And a new word that you have given to us is BC and AC, before COVID and after COVID. It's quite natural that we have tough challenges after the COVID thing. Next, I will take my topic. I'll not talk more about the sustainability thing, as most of you have covered. My topic here today is on the consumer priority after lockdown and the sustainable fabric and recycle usage of fabric and all that. What I feel is customer priorities will be reconfigured away from clothing to the primary health, food, and immunity enhancement products. Because immunity is a key word now, and it is a priority now to face the threats which is created by COVID-19 virus. So a lot of consumer behavior changes will be there, and of course, Mr. Abhishek will agree to it because he might be feeling it. Because people are more less focused on fashion and more focused on their building on their immunity and how they can build this thing. They will tend to settle with durable basics and core fashion products. So I believe the brands across the globe will be focusing more on that. Non-fashion and core items will be in, while the fashion products will be taking a backstage. And as Mr. Subroto has already added, I also have a strong feeling that this functional finishes like antimicrobial properties, antibacterial properties may attract more to the customers, because at least I anticipate for the next 1 year or so, or maybe more than that, maybe 1 year or 2 years, customer focus will be on buying products with this kind of functional finishes, to safeguard their interest, and for their own safety. Product labeling with the recycled fibers and product labeling with more of this kind of finishes will be more interesting, because that will attract customers. As a whole, this will be for most of the brands, or I believe most of the brands will be using this. It's time will tell. But this is my personal thing, that more and more of this kind of tags and more and more on this anything related to immunity will attract customers. Any sustainable story about the fibers, yarns, or fabrics will be very, very interesting to any customer, in this post-COVID area. And because, as I said in the beginning, that the focus is more on an immunity. Everyone is trying their best, whether what to drink, what to eat, to increase. And when they go out for buying after this lockdown and everything is over, and we have a more or less a normal situation, people will look into this kind of tags and finishes and all that, and which can mark a sense of authenticity for the customers. Right, and moreover, this European Union and America are coming up with law of encouraging products coming out of sustainable circular economy. Any linkage of products with this circular economy will be interesting to them. Most of them have already adapted in their line to have this kind of products, and most of them are going to do that. Basically, it's all about the efforts and easing out buying for the customers, and also spreading awareness about the innovative ways to make the products which are more building their immune system and saving them from this kind of viruses or bacteria or anything which is there in the air. That's my personal thing, and I believe most of the things is covered by the panel, so I'm not going to talk more about sustainability. From the customer perspective, this is what I feel, and this is what is going to be there in the near future. So I'll move quickly to the next panelist, Manish Sinha, who is a NIFT alumni, passed out in the year 2002, currently heading operations at Laguna Clothing, which is a multinational company, a 50-50 joint venture of Tessitura, Monte, Italy, and Apparel Clothing. Manish heads the operations in Bangladesh, in India, and he is also been part of many sustainable projects that Laguna does. So over to you, Manish.
Yeah, thank you, Rahman. So I would first like to thank Bhavna Madam and Girija Madam for giving me this opportunity here. See, the topic what I am going to speak is rebuilding a more sustainable future for Indian apparel industry post COVID-19. Definitely, COVID-19 today has made us more confused. Okay, what we have to do, how we have to do. Okay, but negativity apart, okay, I feel today we have to be more responsible. We have to be more honest. How we were doing it before COVID, I think we have to intensify, we have to double it. Okay, that our all activities towards sustainability, all actions towards sustainability, we have to multiply it. Okay, so I'll just share my presentation. Okay.
You want to share the screen?
Yeah, I'm just finding a little difficult in sharing the screen.
You need Mr. Virendra's help?
Yes, actually, my PPT is not viewing here, that Mr. Virendra can help me.
Open the PPT first, minimize the screen, zoom screen.
Manish, check whether it works. You share the screen and choose.
Otherwise, you share the screen and choose the documents.
You choose desktop and then share the screen. If you choose the desktop, then you will definitely be able to find it on your computer.
Can you speak about your presentation, Manish, as you're running short?
Yeah. Okay. So sorry, that I am not able to share my screen. Okay. It was tested, but looks like some technical problem. Okay. So yeah, so I will be covering basically on certain areas. First, I will be discussing about sustainability and fashion industry, how it is interrelated. Then how was sustainability before COVID pandemic? Then I will be sharing a small brief about Laguna sustainability commitments, and I will be just trying to brief about current COVID crisis and the positives what we have for fashion industry and why we need to rebuild it again. So if you see today, we will be definitely surprised with few facts that making clothes has a huge impact on climate change. Many of the panelists were talking about it. Today, we get the data like 10% of our global greenhouse gas emission is because of fashion industry. 20% of global wastewater is contributed by fashion industry. 85% of textile ends up in landfill. So definitely, we all around the world need to make their individual contribution to zero waste fashion. So I feel, the zero waste fashion should be the buzzword for next decade. So how was, before pandemic, before COVID-19, how was the sustainability? So definitely, most of the shareholder, most of the companies were engaged in organized actions. Okay, our actions were very organized. We all know about the UN-led Sustainability Development Goals, which was led actually in 2015, 17 goals, and all the countries were committed to achieve the goals by 2030. Fashion industry was not behind. Definitely fashion industry, apparel industry were more organized to achieve this goal. Most of the companies were having ambitious sustainability program and commitments. Sustainability was becoming the norms. The awareness for sustainability and action for sustainability were gaining momentum. Many companies like us and many other garment factories started measuring targets to reduce energy, water, carbon, and chemical waste. Many of the retailers were becoming responsible for sourcing and using sustainable materials. Garment industry, I will talk about garment industry specifically, has contributed a lot. Kaushal has actually expressed a lot about his initiative in Raymond, about health and safety and all other stuff. So I must emphasize that garment industry alone has contributed a lot to sustainability by improving health, safety, well-being, compensation. Today, in Laguna, we are fully aligned to the sustainability commitments. Our journey started in 2014. We have a global panel. Being a MNC company, we have global panel. We have basically CIL Textile Sustainability Committee, which is incorporated globally, and we have very clear 5-year action plan. The commitment has been made for each clusters. Our policies are clear, our strategies are clear, action plan are well defined, and we have been affiliated and associated with many of the partners like Hig Index, BCI, ISO, Fair Trade Cotton, SMETA, SEDEX, Ocotex, like we are, Laguna is associated with many of the people. See, apart from the nature, what we talk about, that guy, like I was highlighting, garment industry contributes a lot to the society. It gives employment. It covers larger area, larger community. So our initiative, Laguna initiative, if you see, today we have thousands of female workers hailing from 234 local villages. So we are operating little rural in rural Bangalore, and our workforce is coming from 234 local villages. So you can understand, that what kind of population and what kind of community, we are dealing with. Our initiatives are like, we have done 13 mega health camp, and we are able to reach 14,000 beneficiaries.
Manish sir, if I may just interrupt for a moment, please, if you mind.
Yeah.
Can we have a quick understanding of your content, please?
Sorry.
Can we are a little short of time. We are almost nearing 6. So if you can be a little.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So our other initiative, is like last 1 year, we have sourced 12 lakh sustainable fabrics for various brands. Today we operate with 0 internal landfills. We are associated with Lee and Fung and BSR for healthy business. We have strict anemia prevention and control measures. We conduct blood donation camps every year. We are actively participating on all relief funds if any disaster strikes. We are associated with blind schools and local orphanages as a part of CSR activities. We celebrate Laguna as a company, as a group. We celebrate every year World Environment Day, where we take place to remove one of the impacted area. If you talk about other side of operation, since we started our journey, we have reduced 45% of energy. Today, we are 10% less carbon emission emitting company. If you see our fuel consumption, it is almost dropped to 56%. Water consumption is dropped by 48%. We are able to recycle all the water. 97% of waste recycling we are able to achieve, and we are able to reduce 63% of food waste. So you can see, that over a period of 4, 5, 6 years, and with the constant working on the sustainability measures, we are actually able to reduce many of the waste. Okay, so in turn, definitely it has made our operation more cost effective. Last year, we have completely upgraded our lighting to LED. We have utilized all our infrastructure and resources properly. We have motion sensor to reduce energy uses. We have installed rooftop solar panel. We have planted many oxygen generating plants. We are composting our food waste, and we are organically farming fruits, vegetables for canteen. So that was all, that was, we were all following very aggressively about our sustainability goal. Yes, but current COVID crisis, it cannot be taken lightly. It's a big problem. Definitely today, after talking to many people, many industry, everybody is talking how sustainability will proceed from here, So definitely sustainability transformation is on pause. 2020 is expected to be worst year for global economy. The demand for products are restricting for essential service. Customers are lowering the order. Industries are reeling with cancellation of order, deferred payment, and hold goods. So in this moment, most of the company is working on cash preservation, and non-essential expenses are getting frozen. Definitely, sustainability goals are also impacted in most of the companies. But I think knowingly or unknowingly, lot of positive have happened, okay, in during this crisis. The first thing you can say that during this crisis, garment industry alone has come forward in becoming one of the largest PPE manufacturer today. And I must say that in this COVID crisis, the importance or the of garment industries cannot be forgotten. Today we have better air quality, better water quality, and definitely the gas emission is quite less. Industry is also looking going forward a huge opportunity where world is looking at India and moving out of China. Digitization and innovations are getting, at this time, before we were talking, but today we are realizing that digitization and innovation are important. We all know that, that about the health and safety standards have improved. Today in our factory, the kind of health and safety measures we have taken post-COVID, so our employee feel more comfortable being at home and being at work. And we are actually working with 100% manpower today.
I think, Manish, we need to wind up the session now because we are exceeding the time. And you have given a lot of insight of what Laguna is doing. A lot of initiatives.
I have one last thing to say, basically. Okay. I know I am the last panelist. Okay. So, so definitely time pressure will be there. Okay. But it's just 1 minute left. Okay. So definitely, that a lot of positives have come. Okay. And in this moment, what we need is we have to rebuild a more sustainable future. Okay. We cannot give excuse to back off from sustainability. It has to become more integral part of our business. We have to reassess our sustainability development goals. We have to accept sustainability as a crisis, like how we, we accepted COVID as a crisis, and within a month, we have acted. The important point is that after COVID, when the next pandemic or epidemic will come, nobody knows, because all earlier epidemic or pandemic, if you see, it is all the resultant of either landfill change or nature change. So in this moment, what I feel that protecting ourselves against future global threat, we need to have a clear commitment to build back a more sustainable future. Thank you, Rahman, for giving me time.
Thank you so much, Manish. I think we should wind up this session. We have a very, very informative session with people have covered very interesting topics like from the brand perspective, from the textile making, from the manufacturing perspective, and from the environment perspective that Mr. Karun has covered. And overall, it was very informative, like, what people were doing before the COVID situation and what people are planning to do after the COVID situation that we are facing now, and what kind of consumer will see a behavioral changes in consumer buying, and what will be the focus in the next 1 or 2 couple of years before the things get normalized. I believe it was a very interesting session. We don't have much time left to take questions because we have many questions there. I would request Bhavna ma'am to come in and just brief us about everything about the evening.
Thank you so much. It has been slightly longer than we scheduled, but thank you to all the panelists for staying on, and for all the people who have been joining us. Just one last message to everybody who's joined us today. If there are any questions, including the questions that we can see on the chat of Zoom, we would request you to kindly put it on a mail to girija.jha, girija.jha, girija.jha@nift.ac.in. We will do our best to get a response through to you from all of our panelists, because, like I said, we are there for the industry, and hopefully, and I know that the industry is there for us. Thank you all, Kaushal, Manish, Abhishek, Karun, Subrata sir, Jakur. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, everyone,
Thank you so
to all
much.
the
Be
panelists,
safe.
to Rahman.
Thank you, Girija. Thank you.